Welcome back to Lucky Top 7s. Throughout history, the vast oceans have both captivated and terrified mankind. They represent exploration and adventure, yet they also harbor the potential for great tragedy. Today we explore the darker side of maritime history as we delve into 7 of the worst shipwrecks ever recorded. From the depths of the Atlantic to the turbulent waters of war-torn seas, these disasters serve as stark reminders of the fragility of life and the unforgiving nature of the ocean. The sinking of these vessels left an indelible mark on history, claiming thousands of lives and forever changing the lives of those left behind. Join us as we navigate through time, piecing together the events that led to these catastrophic events. We will uncover the stories of the passengers and crew, the circumstances that sealed their fate, and the lasting impact these tragedies have had on maritime safety and our collective memory. Number 7. The Neptune passenger ferry. On a calm night in February 1993, the Neptune passenger ferry embarked on its fateful journey from Port-au-Prince to Jérémie, Haiti, carrying around 2,000 people, despite having a capacity of only 400. Severely overloaded, the ferry encountered rough seas and began to take on water. The crew could not control the flooding, and passengers rushed to the top deck, causing it to collapse onto those below. The vessel eventually capsized and sank, with most passengers trapped below deck or spilled into the ocean. The exact number of casualties remains uncertain, but it is estimated that around 1,500 people perished in the disaster. Rescue efforts were disorganized, and only a few hundred people were rescued, many found clinging to debris. The Haitian Coast Guard and local fishermen participated in the rescue operations, but the lack of proper equipment and coordination hampered their efforts. The sinking of the Neptune passenger ferry is considered one of the worst maritime disasters in Haitian history, attributed to overloading, poor maintenance, and inadequate safety regulations. This tragedy highlighted the urgent need for stricter maritime safety standards and better enforcement of existing regulations. Number 6. The SS Sultana. In the aftermath of the American Civil War, a nation sought to heal, and soldiers, weary from years of conflict, longed to return home. Among them were thousands of recently released Union soldiers, their spirits buoyed by the promise of peace and reunion. On April 27, 1865, the steamboat SS Sultana embarked on a fateful journey up the Mississippi River, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of these returning heroes. The Sultana, originally built to accommodate a mere 376 passengers, was severely overcrowded, carrying over 2,400 souls, most of them Union soldiers eager to return to their families. The vessel, its boilers overworked from the strain of carrying such a heavy load, was a disaster waiting to happen. As the Sultana steamed up the Mississippi River near Memphis, Tennessee, the unthinkable occurred. One of the ship's boilers, weakened from overuse and inadequate maintenance, exploded with tremendous force, tearing a gaping hole in the steamboat's side. The explosion ripped through the vessel, sending shockwaves through the night and instantly killing hundreds. Those who survived the initial blast faced a desperate fight for survival. Flames engulfed the wooden superstructure while the icy waters of the Mississippi offered little refuge. Panic gripped the passengers and crew as the Sultana began to sink rapidly. Men jumped into the frigid water, many of them too weak from their wartime experiences to stay afloat. The cries of those trapped within the burning wreckage echoed across the water, a haunting testament to the chaos and despair. The sinking of the Sultana claimed the lives of over 1,800 people, making it the deadliest maritime disaster in United States history. The tragedy was compounded by the fact that many of the victims were soldiers who had survived the horrors of war, only to meet their end in such a horrific manner. Though overshadowed by the assassination of President Lincoln just days earlier, the Sultana disaster serves as a somber reminder of the often overlooked cost of war and the importance of vigilance, even in times of peace. Number 5. The MV La Joola. The MV La Joola was a Senegalese government-owned ferry that embarked on a routine journey along the coast of West Africa. On the fateful night of September 26, 2002, the vessel sailed into history as the scene of one of the deadliest maritime disasters ever recorded. Designed to carry approximately 580 passengers, the ferry was grossly overloaded, with estimates suggesting over 1,800 souls were packed aboard. As the ship encountered rough seas off the coast of the Gambia, the strain of the excessive load became tragically evident. Without warning, the MV Joola capsized, plunging its passengers into chaos. The dark waters of the Atlantic claimed nearly 1,863 lives, leaving only a handful of survivors to tell the harrowing tale. The disaster underscored severe lapses in maritime safety regulations and enforcement, exposing a chilling disregard for human life in the face of bureaucratic oversight. It was a stark reminder of the catastrophic consequences of neglect and the urgent need for stringent safety measures to protect those who entrust their lives to the sea. As the waves swallowed the ill-fated ferry, the world was left to mourn a preventable tragedy and to vow that such a disaster should never be allowed to happen again. Number 4. The SS Kiangya. In the turbulent aftermath of World War II, China was engulfed in civil war, and countless refugees sought safety and a new beginning. On December 3, 1948, the steamboat SS Kiangya set sail from Shanghai, carrying thousands of these desperate souls. The Kiangya, designed to hold around 1,200 passengers, was dangerously overcrowded, with estimates suggesting it carried between 2,000 and 4,000 people. The vessel, burdened by the weight of so many lives, was a catastrophe waiting to unfold. As the Kiangya navigated the Huangpu River, disaster struck. An explosion likely caused by a leftover mine from the war tore through the ship's hull with devastating force. The blast ripped the vessel apart, sending shockwaves through the night and instantly killing hundreds. Those who survived the initial explosion faced a harrowing struggle for survival. The ship began to sink rapidly and panic ensued. Passengers and crew members scrambled to escape the sinking wreckage, many of them leaping into the cold, dark waters. The cries of those trapped within the ship echoed across the river, a haunting testament to the chaos and despair. The sinking of the Kiangya claimed the lives of an estimated 2,700 people, making it one of the deadliest maritime disasters in history. The tragedy was compounded by the fact that many of the victims were refugees who had already endured unimaginable hardships. Though overshadowed by the larger events of the Chinese Civil War, the Kiangya disaster serves as a somber reminder of the human cost of conflict and the importance of safety and vigilance even in times of turmoil. Number 3. The RMS Lancastria. The RMS Lancastria, a proud ocean liner of the British fleet, symbolized the resilience and strength of a nation during the tumultuous times of World War II. Yet, on a calm day in June of 1940, this symbol of hope would face a tragic fate off the coast of France. The Lancastria, tasked with evacuating British troops and civilians from the advancing German forces, carried thousands of souls seeking safety. As the ship navigated the waters near Saint-Nazaire, the day was calm and the sea deceptively tranquil. Unbeknownst to those on board, German bombers were closing in on the ship's position. The lookout spotted the aircraft too late, and despite desperate attempts to evade, the Lancastria could not escape the impending attack. The ship was struck by multiple bombs, the explosions causing catastrophic damage and igniting fires on board. The damage was severe, and the Lancastria began to list heavily as water poured into the breached hull. The bomb's impact tore massive holes in the liner's side, flooding the compartments below the waterline with alarming speed. Chaos erupted on board the stricken vessel. Passengers and crew scrambled for lifeboats, but the ship was listing so rapidly that many were thrown into the cold waters. The chaos, the cold, and the screams of those struggling to stay afloat created a scene of unimaginable horror. Within hours, the Lancastria slipped beneath the waves, taking with her thousands of lives. The speed of the sinking and the overwhelming number of evacuees contributed to the high death toll, leaving a community devastated and a nation in mourning. The sinking of the Lancastria, though often overshadowed by the broader events of World War II, stands as one of the deadliest maritime disasters in history. Number 2. The MV Dona Paz. In the calm waters of the Philippines, a tragedy of unimaginable scale unfolded in December 1987. The MV Dona Paz, a passenger ferry, was making its routine voyage from Leyte to Manila. On board were thousands of passengers, many of them returning home for the holidays. The MV Dona Paz, a symbol of hope and reunion for many, would soon become the site of one of the deadliest maritime disasters in history. As the ferry sailed through the night, disaster struck. Overcrowded with an estimated 4,000 souls, the MV Dona Paz was navigating the busy waters of the Philippine archipelago. On the night of December 20, 1987, the ferry collided with the oil tanker MT Vector. The collision caused a massive fire that quickly engulfed both vessels. On that fateful night, the sea turned into a fiery inferno. Flames spread rapidly, fueled by the oil from the tanker, turning the ferry into a blazing death trap. Explosions rocked the vessel, sending shockwaves through the night. Panic and chaos ensued as passengers desperately tried to escape the inferno. The MV Dona Paz, its structure compromised, began to sink rapidly. The burning waters of the sea engulfed the lower decks, trapping many below. Those who managed to escape the sinking ship faced another peril: the burning sea. Cries for help pierced the night air, but the darkness, the fire, and the speed of the sinking made rescue efforts nearly impossible. Within minutes, the MV Dona Paz disappeared beneath the waves, taking with her an estimated 4,300 souls. The wreck of the MV Dona Paz, resting on the seabed, serves as a mass grave for thousands and a solemn reminder of the devastating impact of maritime disasters on human lives. Number 1. The MV Wilhelm Gustloff. As the frost of January 1945 settled over the Baltic Sea, the MV Wilhelm Gustloff, a German passenger liner turned military transport ship, prepared to evacuate thousands of refugees fleeing the advancing Red Army. What began as a desperate attempt to escape the horrors of war would culminate in the deadliest maritime disaster in history, claiming the lives of an estimated 9,400 souls. The Wilhelm Gustloff, once a symbol of German leisure, was now a vessel of last resort, overcrowded with over 10,000 civilians, wounded soldiers, and naval personnel. Families huddled together on deck, their faces etched with fear and uncertainty, clinging to the hope of reaching safety. As the Wilhelm Gustloff made its way through the icy waters, a Soviet submarine lurking beneath the surface spotted the ship. Believing it to be a military target, the submarine fired 3 torpedoes, each one finding its mark on the ill-fated vessel. The impact of the torpedoes sent shockwaves through the ship, causing immediate panic and chaos. Passengers, many of them women and children, were thrown from their bunks or trampled in the rush for the deck. The ship, its hull breached, began to list severely, hindering evacuation efforts. The scene that unfolded was one of unimaginable horror. Passengers, desperate to escape the sinking ship, jumped into the frigid water, many without life jackets. The cries of those trapped below deck, their escape routes blocked by the surging water, echoed through the night. In the chaos and confusion, acts of both incredible bravery and heartbreaking despair played out against the backdrop of the sinking ship. Parents desperately tried to save their children, sailors risked their lives to help passengers into lifeboats, and the icy grip of the Baltic claimed thousands. The sinking of the Wilhelm Gustloff remains the deadliest maritime disaster in history. The sinking of these 7 ships, each a tragedy in its own right, serves as a solemn reminder of the power of the sea and the importance of respecting its unpredictable nature. These disasters, etched in maritime history, highlight the fragility of life and the importance of continuous vigilance when it comes to safety at sea. From the Neptune passenger ferry to the Wilhelm Gustloff, these stories remind us of the human cost of negligence, the horrors of war, and the importance of learning from past mistakes to prevent future tragedies. As we venture out onto the open water, may we always remember these lessons and strive to make the sea a safer place for all who journey across its waves. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe for more Lucky Top 7's content.